What if there was a study method out there that could literally save you hours of work, boost your memory like crazy, and help you crush your tests, but almost no one is talking about it? Well, today, we're going to talk about it. Let's dive in.
Oh man, we've all been there, right? You spend a whole weekend with your highlighters out, rereading all your notes, feeling super productive, but then you sit down for that exam and your mind is just a total blank. It is one of the most frustrating feelings ever, and it makes you think, man, I'm just not good at studying. But here's the thing, the problem isn't you, it's your method.
So why does this happen? It's all because of something called the studying illusion. This is that tricky feeling of being really busy and productive when you're not actually building any real, long-lasting knowledge.
And the difference really boils down to this. Passive studying, things like rereading and highlighting, it's comfortable, it feels easy, but it's also tricking your brain. Your brain sees the information and thinks, oh yeah, I know this, just because it looks familiar. But active study, that's totally different. That's when you force your brain to actually pull the information out of your memory without looking. Yeah, it's harder, it feels like a struggle, but that struggle, that's exactly what builds strong, solid memories.
So, how do we make that jump from being passive to being active? Well, the answer is this incredibly powerful technique, backed by tons of research. It is the secret weapon for learning effectively, and it's called active recall.
So what in the world is active recall? Honestly, it's just the simple act of trying to remember something. So instead of just reading a definition over and over again, you cover it up with your hand and you try to say it from memory. You're basically testing yourself constantly instead of just letting your eyes glaze over the page. And believe me, that tiny little shift makes all the difference.
And you want to know the best part? It sounds all scientific, but it is so simple to actually do. Let's break down the exact steps so you can literally start using this like today. Okay, so here's the simple loop. First, you read a small chunk of your material, just a paragraph or maybe a single page. Step 2, close the book. Shut the laptop, cover your notes. This is the most important step, seriously. Step 3, try to recall everything you just read. You can say it out loud, you can jot it down on a piece of paper, or you can even explain it to your cat, whatever works. And finally, step 4, open your notes back up, see what you got right, and, this is key, fix what you got wrong.
Let's make this even simpler, okay? You read one page, you close the book, you say everything you remember out loud, then you open the book back up and check for any mistakes or things you missed. That's it. That is the entire technique in a nutshell, and you can do this with absolutely any subject.
All right, so it's simple, I get it. But why is it so much more efficient? How does this actually save you hours of your life? Well, it all comes down to working smarter, not harder.
Think about active recall as like a diagnostic tool for your brain. It immediately shines a giant spotlight on the stuff you don't know, so you can stop wasting time going over the concepts you've already got down. And that little bit of effort, that struggle to remember something, that's what actually strengthens your long-term memory way more than just reading ever could. You'll find you don't need to reread chapters 5 times anymore because you're actually training your brain to do what it needs to do on an exam, retrieve information.
And you can use this for everything. It's perfect for studying for big exams, for reviewing your homework right after class, and yep, it even works for some of that last-minute cramming, because it forces you to focus only on the stuff you keep forgetting.
Now this brings us to one final idea, and it's a little counterintuitive, but it completely reframes how you should think about learning. It's this idea I call the power of forgetting.
See, we're all taught to think that forgetting something is a failure, but what if it's not? What if that moment where you're struggling to remember a fact isn't a sign of weakness? That moment is your brain putting up a big flashing sign that says, hey, this memory needs to be stronger. Forgetting isn't the problem, it's a roadmap. It's telling you exactly where to focus your energy.
So, the next time you're studying and you can't remember something, don't get frustrated. I want you to lean into that feeling. Embrace that struggle. Because that moment of forgetting, followed by the effort of recalling it, that is the most powerful learning moment you can possibly have. So what if forgetting isn't failure, but it's actually the key to remembering?